G'day guys and welcome back to the JFBS SuperCoach channel. And today what we're going to go through is the Carlton Blues team review going into the AFL 2026 season. If you haven't seen the other two videos, Adelaide, Brisbane, go check them out. I'll be making another, 15 videos after this one of the other teams. We're just doing it in alphabetical order. And today we're going to be doing Carlton. I wish I would never have to talk about Carlton for more than 20 minutes of my life ever again. Sorry to the Carlton fans, but we're going to be talking about who are some good options for your sides. On this Carlton list, I've kind of chosen some guys who will be playing in that best 23. I've got to get used to saying best 23 because of the new sub rule. So who's going to be playing the best 23? And maybe some other options who are just outside options there. So let's get into it. Starting from defense, Nick Newman at 439k. I think he's the fourth highest owned with 12% of sides picking him, or equal third with Harry Dean. Look, once again, I mentioned the Brisbane one. I don't like taking huge risks, and I'm sure there's some guys out there who will take huge risks. And Nick Newman, I think, is probably one of the biggest ones. He's 33. He's just come off an ACL injury. And yeah, look, we've looked at like athletes all over the world with ACL injuries or just big leg injuries, knee injuries, and they're just not what they were the year before, obviously. He's a year older and a whole year of rehab. Look, I just can't. There's no way for anyone to convince me that Nick Newman will be any good. Not that he's going to be not good. What I'm trying to say is that any good for SuperCoach. Adam Sard, I remember when I first started SuperCoach, I was like, oh, he's a good option. He's cheaper and he'll average fine. He'll average 90 or 100. Boy, was I wrong all those years ago. 88, 39, 103, 72 for the last 4 games of the season, 103, 77. Then he had a 22, 80. He got injured. I'm pretty sure he got to Port Adelaide. But yeah, you're looking at this and you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games out of the possible 24. Not playing in 3 of the games. So out of the 7 games, 3 not played, 4 of them over 100. Not worth it to go for. Wiedering, going to say no. Mitch McGovern, going to say no. Lockie Cowan, also going to say no. And Ollie Hollins, I'm also going to say no. If there's any other defenders, Harry Dean, I forgot to put in, actually. He'll be playing. I don't think he'll be better, though. I think he'll, I just don't think he'll average a lot. I just don't know. We're looking at defenders, sorry. John Boyd, probably not. Let's go highest price, sorry. Lewis Young did play half the season, so we'll see. Matthew Carroll as well. He probably does fit in that best 23, but we're not too sure. Harry O'Farrell played 6, Billy Wilson with 4, and Jordan Boyd with 3 kind of talked about. I think he's kind of fallen out of that side at the moment. All right, midfielders, here we go. Georgie Hewitt broke out last year as Carlton's best player in the midfield. I notoriously went with Patrick Cripps last year, and he did shithouse for me. George Hewitt probably priced at a lower than Patrick Cripps and ended up being higher with a higher average. So shout out to the people who did go from last year. Very interesting that 0% of the community are going with George Hewitt. I don't think, like with that average, he is a top 8 mid, don't get me wrong. But he's not a standout in my opinion. We'll go back to like best at around that price. You've got Ed Richards, who's kind of Tom Liberatore. You've got Holmes and Green, who are under 2%. Heaney. Took Miller, I feel like, is in that same path of George Hewitt of like, they'll probably won't average 112, but still. But I'm very surprised that like no one's picked him. I think he'll be really good for Carlton this year. So look, I don't know. But I do believe this person might be on par with George Hewitt. If not, will be doing better. Is Sam Walsh. He's been coming off a couple seasons injury riddled, so it's been horrible for him. Yeah, look, 14 games, 19 games, 15 games, average of 100, 108, 103. He did average 117 in his third year, 111. He's in a peak of his prime, like the peak of his prime, which means he might not even be a bad option to go for as your starting like guy. He will probably be your M8 or M7 or M9, M7 at best. But Walsh, I reckon, is the best option just in that Carlton team in general. Do you know what I forgot to do? Forgot to go through some Carlton simulation preseason notes. We can go over this really quickly. Or should we go? No, we'll do this towards the end. We'll do this at the end because it's already too late. Adam Chera, 531k, also kind of broke out. Finally, a year where he didn't get injured often, whereas the past few years he was just keeps getting like hamstring injuries and just leg injuries that are just killing him. Look, 19, he had 12, 19, 18, 18, 17, 20, 21. I think he'll be probably not an option to go for, in my opinion. There's a reason why 0% of people are going with him. He's going to be like him and Hewitt and these guys who kind of broke out like Chera did. These guys, as we'll see year and year on, 530, like once they hit that 530k, there are so many better options, 20,000, 40,000, and then 100,000 more that are going to be better. Last year, where he was starting around 450k, 480k, something like that, you can't upgrade 20, 30k to your next primo. You need about 150. So, Shera, I'm going to say no to. Patrick Cripps, he is the last person I want to actually pick out of these four. I don't know why he's gone down in his averages, but I think I had him last year at the start, but the year before he was at 110. He was at 570k. It's just so annoying. That's why I picked him. I was like, oh, do you know what? 570k coming off a Brownlow, I'm pretty sure he'll do good, wouldn't he? No. Does shit. Well, he had 119 average in 2018, but you just can't pick him. Blake Acres going to say no. Oliver Florent, I had in my mid price only team. I think he'll be decent. I think he'll get to around just sub or just under 500k. But he's probably obviously not going to be a keeper. He'll be a good option for, a bit of a pod, that type of guy. They'll be playing him half back, it seems. If they're not going to play him half back, it's going to be wing. And I don't think Oliver Florent. Oh, what the hell is going on? Can you not? Can I get out? What? That took way too long to get rid of. Sorry, guys. Sorry, going back to Florent. I think I like him better than Akers, Cripps, and Chera, and Cooper Lord, and Chesser. So a very interesting option to go for, in my opinion. Cooper Lord's 324k. I think he'll get more CBA time. I just don't know. He's not going to go up in Cooper Lord's. I don't think he's going to go up in price that much or anything like. Did he have 100? Wow, he averaged 102 in his last three games. 87. Oh, let's do the games he wasn't a sub. What does that one mean again? Oh, contested possessions. No, didn't want to see his heat map. Sorry, guys. There we go. So he had an average of 66. His CBA, let's remove the ones where he didn't even get any playing time. A 74. Now we can probably get rid of. He had most of 80. So let's get the ones under like 10 and like under 20. I actually accidentally added that one, which was his 106 game. But moving on. and 81. What about under 40? 102. So towards the end, they played him a lot in the midfield. And at an average of 102, 120, 111, 121, and 74. So, I mean, I don't think he'll be getting those numbers in the middle, but I think if he does, then he'll be a decent option. I don't think people are going to be going for him. With all due respect, only 1% have got him. Jagger Smith, the most owned player in Supercoach. He was last year up until he got his ACL injury. He is this year. He's probably one of your clearest locks of your starting 20, your starting team of 31 players. There's not much more I can say. Everyone's talked about it. He's, I think, playing half forward, coming up half forward, doing some CBA midfield time, which is fine because he'll make at least 250k in my opinion. 370k is amazing. If he gets a 400k, that's even better. So it'll be interesting to see how Jagger goes. I'm really excited. Campbell Chesser, 273k, came from the Eagles. I don't know what he's done over his career, I'll be honest, Supercoach stats-wise. I know he's been, sometimes he gets in and out of that side. Yeah, look, 4 games, 18-14. He's at 273k, an average of 63. It's interesting that he's only played 4 games, average of 63, and he's gone up to 273. Like, they've made it that he's that price. Normally, they kind of scale it down to probably, I'd say, like low 200s. But I don't think he'll be a guy to go for. He could be playing on the wing and probably half forward. That's the only options I can see. Rucks are going to be interesting for Carlton. 66% of teams have got Liam Reedy on their side and 1% with Mark Pitnet, which is interesting. For the people that have Liam Reedy, I'd love to know why. I understand why at the start. I'm at the start. I had him as my bench piece there because he's obviously got the forward status. He had that one. That one game was WA versus it was the Indigenous All Stars versus Fremantle, and he only had like 15 hitouts against Colin Livingston or something like that. We're going to have to look at preseason, especially I'm going to have to look at preseason to really like sway me in a different direction because I'm currently struggling for my team to find like my bottom 3 bench guys. I'm kind of struggling to find some people. And if Liam Reedy can be one of those bottom 3 guys, I'll be pretty content. That's if he plays round 1, and that's if he's going to be like starting rough. They can easily play them half and half, and I think it's fine to go with Liam Reedy there. But just based off that, I mean, we can have a look at his not VFL average, but it would be the waffle average for him. Oh, it's right here. Not much scrolling. It won't come up with SuperCoach, but it'll come up in, yeah, look at that, in waffle. $103. How many hitouts? 33, 42, 49, 41, 43, 48. Like, that's probably sub 115, average 120. That's in the waffle, though. He played 1 game against Geelong, had a 34, had 18 hitouts. So easily his lowest of that year, except for the first game he played for Peel. Going to go out on a limb and say, don't go for him. Only go for him if he's going to be starting. Because that's going to be me. I will get him on my team if he is going to be on that starting 23 for Carlton. Definitely. Enough about Reedy. All right, Carlton's forwards. Here we go. Harry Mackay going to say no. I have a rule for myself. Mentioned the other videos that I don't go with key forwards. Zach Williams, have heard that has played a bit of halfback, just moving the magnets around. Michael Voss could still play half forward. Preseason, they're still experimenting what's the best for them. So, look, I'm just going to say no. Will Hayward, I'm going to say no. Frankie Evans, no. Fogarty, no. Ainsworth, interesting. I think he'll average more, Wow. Only no one has him. Like 0% of people have him. 61.5 average. I can easily see him get to about around 80. I'm not even joking. I reckon he can get around 80, maybe upwards of 85. That's my feeling on it, I think. I'm confused. Oh, what would 80 be? Like 400K? 420K? 410K? That's where I can see his potential being. But for being a starting forward, I'm going to go with no. Matty Cottrell only played 6 games last year. Did he get in? He must have got injured quite a bit. He pisses me off as a Richmond fan. Ashton Moyer as well. I wanted to talk about him because obviously he's a young player and I think he can definitely improve this year. Supercoach wise, I'm going to go no. I don't think going to make enough money for me to go, yep, let's grab him. So I'm going to steer clear from Ashton Moyer. See, zero. There's a reason why 0% of people have got him. And I think that's it. We can have a look at just the whole team in general, look back at guys that I've missed or not talked about. Lewis Young is a defender for Carlton, so I'm going to say no. I think Carlton fans don't like him either. Matty Carroll, 17 games last year. I always get mixed up with him and Cottrell, so I can't remember what he did. Is he going to start? I probably think he will be in the best 23. Just don't know where he's going to be. I'm not very educated on Matthew Carroll, with all due respect. It's unfortunate that Jesse Motlop's injured for the whole year. It sounded like he was having a really good preseason until he did his ACL. Not going to be playing at all this year. Very, very disappointing. Hopefully he has a speedy recovery. Harry O'Farrell, 6 games. Wilson O'Keefe. Was it Flynn Young that people were getting pissed off at? I think it was Lewis Young that people were getting pissed off at. But Flynn Young, I think he's a young forward, so they might be the Charlie Curnow replacement. Very big shoes to fill. Brody Kemp, Harry Dean. We didn't talk about him. Oh, we might have. Harry Dean would be an okay option. I think, just to go over my comments earlier in the video, I think won't make much money. I don't think key defenders as rookies don't make as much money. Boyd, the Camporelli twins, just going to go no. And I think that's it, I'll be honest. I think that is it for Carlton. We can have a look at Nerds for Life. Nerds for Life on Twitter. Great people or person to really, summarize preseason match simulation training notes. Obviously, track watches from Super Footy and Blue Abroad. So shout out to them as well. This was December 14, so last year. As the day I'm recording this on the 2nd of Feb. Bit of time ago. Stuff has changed, but we'll see how what we can read here. Who's been doing well? Elijah Holland's reminding people such a highly rated junior. Incredibly star. Yep. Campbell Chester appears to be added muscle. Good outside. Liam Reid impressed onlookers. Solid in the air. Should be a lock in your R3 in your team picker side for now. That was about a month and a bit ago. Played forward in ruck contest. Basically TDK's role last year. Sam Walsh looks to be fittest number one for a number of years now. No injury concern. Jack Eisen or East, I think it's Eisen. Impressive. Lucas Camporelli was working hard. Anyone else? Patrick Cripps Wiedering appear to be great condition. Nick Newman is moving well after his knee issues last season. Regular halfback role. He's been one I'm looking to discount price. James Smith still wearing non-contact. Cooper Lord, classy. Oliver Florent, Will Hayward. Harry Dean showed his skills over the summer. Personally, he's behind Reedy when it comes to AFL selection early on. So, based on that, obviously Liam Reedy was talked about quite a bit, saying you should be your lock for R3 at the moment. I think let's just wait for preseason. I'm going to say that in every video. He'll be definitely a guy I watch over the preseason. And yeah, other guys I'll be looking at, probably Sam Walsh. I'm going to look at Nick Newman and Harry Dean. Those are the guys I'll be looking at most definitely. But that's going to do it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Let me know if I went over some guys that I didn't talk about enough. If there's any guys you think will do better than, like any guys that I didn't mention that will do well, or any guys I think that will do well or won't do well. Let me know anything about anything. But yeah, that's going to do it for me. Hopefully, you guys enjoy that. Have a good one. I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.